All right, sir. Then just give 1 minute of time. I'll start the content. Guys, those who are attending in online, just I'm giving some clarity for you. For every registered member, you received a mail. In that mail, you are able to have like what there some ID numbers. Durgasoft has given some ID number, so you are able to when we open this webinar. When you open this webinar, there we are able to receive what their registration form. In that registration form, then what we are having there, first name, one field is available. Next one is what there, last name, another field is available. Last name. Next one is like what there, email ID, and another one is like what their mobile number. These many things are available. I'm telling to you clearly. Right, sir. Now get this is the first name and this is the last name and email ID and a mobile number. These many fields are existed there. In place of first name, you have to enter your ID number. Something else like what there. Example, I'm doing NACJ, something else. Like here, we are able to get it. Something else, some number here, 101, like something else. We're able to get it now, right? So this is like what there, your ID number. That we have to give your ID number. As a last name here, we have to give like what there, your name. And email ID and mobile number as usual, you know that. So try to follow this format here. Whenever we are getting registration page, there we can enter the data like this. Okay. All right, guys. Right. Jayant, are you there? Jayant, shall we start now? Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, good, nice. All right, sir. Now let's come for the content here. What we have to discuss there, and what we completed in the last session. In the last session, here just we completed. In the last session, here we understood modules. That means all the modules just have started with what there overview of modules. So no need to think about it. Just one line I'm giving there all the modules information. But individually we are going to see all the modules here. After completion of this modules overview, then we will talk about like what there steps to prepare first spring application. There we are able to get much clarity. All right, sir. Then how each and every component is provided. All the components we are going to understand. But just this is like what there only basic awareness, basic information of like what there that modules can try to understand it now. All right. Anyway, then what? How many modules can we completed in the last session here? If you observe this Spring Core module, Spring Core module is what there basic foundation for Spring framework like beans management in Spring framework and IOC containers, dependency injection. This basic concepts of Spring framework are covered inside the core module. Nothing is there. See, you know already in a Spring framework that complete application logic we are going to provide business logic or business components, whatever it may be. Everything we are going to provide in the form of what classes there? Java bean components only. In general, in core Java program, up to now what we have done there, you have written your application logic inside where main class and main method. Main method we have used it to write our logic. Am I right or not? Even that system.out println of hello world also, we are writing inside like what their main method. But in Spring Framework, where we have to write it now, we have to keep that application logic in the form of what classes there? Bean classes. Don't use that main class and main method for displaying, for writing application logic. We have to keep that application logic inside what there? Bean classes. Overall idea I'm telling there, try to understand it now. Write your logic inside the bean components. Container, activate the container. Container will create objects for beans. Container will supply that objects to you. Get objects from container, then access the business methods. That's it. And Spring idea is what there, provide everything inside the beans only. Activate the container. Container will identify that bean classes. Container will create bean objects. Then after that, container will supply that bean objects to you. Get that bean objects and access the business methods. This is the idea inside the Spring framework. Don't in core Java, what is idea? Prepare main class and main method, write your application logic inside the main class and main method, execute the program. But this is somewhat different in the case of what their Spring framework. Prepare the logic inside the bean classes. Create that objects through container. Container will supply that bean objects to you. Get them and access the business methods inside the main class and main method. That's it now. As for that, I'm telling to you, try to understand this clearly now. So about this beans life cycle, about these containers and everything will be covered under like what their core module. Next one is what their context module. See, in general, in the enterprise application, some services are required. Some kind of services are required. What services are required, sir? Now tell me. The services will be like what there? Right, the services will be like what there? What services? No, internationalization service, event handling service, data validation service, like some other unknown services you are not aware at present now, but some other services are available. They are nothing but advanced features now. That advanced features are going to be covered inside like what there? Spring context module. But in my point of view, no difference between core module and context module. Both will club in the form of what there? Core only. That both are going to be discussed under what their core module only. But I'm going to discuss with you clearly now. Right, so then after the DAO module, Spring DAO module provides very good environment to implement the DAO layer in MVC based applications, and it defines some Spring framework own exception classes hierarchy. DAO module is having Spring own exceptions. Underlying databases, underlying technologies may raise some exceptions there. They are checked exceptions. But Spring framework is converting the checked exceptions to what they're unchecked exceptions. Why it is converting there? It's very simple to handle what they're unchecked exceptions when compared with what they're checked exceptions. To handle the checked exceptions, some programmatic approaches we required, but to handle unchecked exceptions, no, declarative approach is sufficient. So we are able to handle the unchecked exceptions easily. So that Spring framework is providing such kind of exceptions hierarchy as part of the DAO module. Right, sir. Spring JDBC module. Already we understood that clearly. If we write any JDBC program in the normal JDBC, some boilerplate code we are going to write. Load and register the driver, establish the connection, creating statement or prepare statement or callable statement, and write and execute SQL queries and close the resources. These many statements here we have to write. Out of all these things, 4 or 5 statements are repeatable at each and every application. That is called as what their boilerplate code. Only one line of code is what their variable. So now what Spring JDBC module is doing there, whatever the code which is repeatable inside the JDBC, that everything is abstracted in the form of some template classes. And it provides an opportunity for us to write. It provides an option to us to write and execute SQL queries only. That means the entire JDBC program is reduced to one line. The total JDBC code is reduced to what there? One line. So that is an advantage of like what there? Spring JDBC module. Already we understood that. Next one is what there? Then after that, Spring AOP module. All right, sir. AOP module is somewhat different. In the business implementations, we are going to use this AOP module. Anyway, in any enterprise applications, we are going to use some service layers, some service implementations. What are the various services here we are going to implement there? Say, for example, transactions maybe security, maybe connection pooling, or maybe like what there, and logging. Logging is another one. Like this, different services we are able to use. Some like what I'm telling there, generic services we are going to use there. All these services we have to be integrated with our Spring application. To integrate all of them into our Spring applications there, we are going to use AOP styled program. AOP style we are going to implement. Aspect orientation we are going to use in our applications. Right. By using aspect orientation, we are going to inject all these services into our respective enterprise application. So for the sake of integrating these services into our enterprise application, there we are going to use what there? AOP module, aspect orientation here we are going to use. All right, so now next one, transactions module. In JDBC, we have seen transactions. And in Hibernate also, we have transactions. Of course, as per our awareness in JDBC, you might be aware about what their transactions now. The JDBC provided transaction is up to one level. But if you want to get the complete transaction support, there we have to go for what there and Spring transactions module. Like defining ACID properties for every transaction, maintaining isolation levels, maintaining like what the atomicity property, some programmatic approaches and declarative approaches. All these things are going to be explained, are going to be understood inside like what their transactions module. Observe carefully. Next one is what they then after that Spring ORM module. In JDBC, how the boilerplate code is reduced. In the same way, in the case of Hibernate applications, normal Hibernate applications, some boilerplate code is available. What is that boilerplate code here? Create configuration class object, create session factory object, create session object, create a transaction object, perform database operations. Next one is perform either commit or rollback, close the session, close the session factory. Out of all these steps now, perform the database operations is a variable, but remaining steps are optional automatically. For every Hibernate application, these steps are what they're very much common. But only one step is variable from one application to another application here. Got it or not? So now here, Spring ORM module, what it is providing there? First, it is providing some bridge to integrate ORM implementation applications with the Spring application. It able to provide some bridge for integrating ORM implemented applications. ORM implemented applications are what there? Maybe Hibernate application, maybe JPA application, or maybe like what there on a top link application, maybe like Hibernate application. ORM implemented applications are available. I want to integrate all these applications with what their Spring application. We need some bridge for integrating these applications with the Spring. That bridge is provided by whom? Spring ORM module. While integrating them, in general in Hibernate, maybe these many steps are available. 7 to 8 number of steps are available. But where only one step is a variable, that is required. But remaining steps are very much common. But Spring ORM module, what it has done there, simply it has abstracted all the steps of the Hibernate, but it allows only to write and execute the queries, only performing what their database operations. Only that stuff is provided to us, but remaining steps are totally abstracted. So some flexibility here we are getting. That entire Hibernate application is becoming as what their single line of code here. So that's why here we are going to use like what their Spring ORM module. Right, sir. I think so. Up to this part here we understood clearly, right? Next one is after that Spring Web module. Right, sir. What is this actually? Spring Web module. Spring Web module. What exactly this Spring Web module actually? Understand it? No. What is this Spring Web module actually? Observe carefully. All right, sir. Now tell me. I'm asking one question. Do you not try to answer for it? What is the purpose of Spring ORM module? Just now I explained that. What is the purpose of Spring ORM module? ORM implemented technologies are available to simplify the database operations. What are these ORM implemented technologies? No, implemented tools, not technologies. Hibernate, Hibernate, JPA, Top Link, all these are like what they're ORM implemented tools. By using this tool, if you prepare some applications, database related application, some boilerplate code we have to write. To reduce this boilerplate code and to integrate these applications with enterprise application, Spring has provided some bridge. That bridge is nothing but what there ORM. Am I right or not? As if you understand this, it is very simple to understand web module. All of you are getting it or not? What is the purpose of Spring ORM module? What is the purpose of Spring ORM module? Right, sir. ORM model. Spring ORM model is what there? Right, it provides a bridge for integrating ORM implemented tools applications. What are the ORM implemented tools? Hibernate, JPA, Toplink, Hibernate, and so on. By using these tools, if you prepare any application and if you want to integrate that application with the Spring application, there we have to use what there ORM module. While integrating these applications with the Spring, what advantage we are able to get? No, advantage is what there. If we use these applications alone, where 7 to 8 number of common code we have to write, some boilerplate code we have to write. If we integrate that with the Spring application, the total boilerplate code will be abstracted. Only one line is provided for us to perform our database operations. This is actual content. Clear or not? Okay, now let's understand this point clearly. All of you guys observe carefully. Previously, I given two types of frameworks. I remember that two types of frameworks. What are the two types of frameworks now? Tell me. Just like two types of servers, web servers and application server. Now, similarly, two types of frameworks we understood. What are the two types of frameworks now? Web frameworks and application framework. What is this web framework now? Tell me. They'll provide very good environment to design and execute web applications only. Application frameworks are what? They'll provide very good environment to design and execute all the types of applications like standalone application, web applications, distributed applications, database related applications, and so on and so on and so on. Got it or not? That is nothing but what their application framework. Tell me any example for web frameworks now. Example for web frameworks are what their struts. Next one is what their JSF. Struts and JSF are the Xwork too. Best examples. Tell me example for application framework now. Come on, example for application framework is what there? Spring. Spring framework is what there? Example for application framework. Yes, sir. Got it or not? Oh, okay. Listen carefully. I have an application requirement, web application requirement. I want to prepare a web application requirement. Damn sure it is mandatory for me to use MVC based application. All I am going to prepare. Observe carefully. Alternatives are available. At one side, Spring framework is available. By using Spring framework, I want to implement my MVC based application. I have taken Spring framework to prepare what their MVC based application. Then immediately in the next step, I realized that Spring provided web environment is not good for my application requirement. I realized that Spring provided web support is not sufficient for my application as per the requirement. I need some extra support. Some features I required extra. Not extra, some different features are required which are not provided by Spring Web module, Spring Web Services, Spring Web support. But I identified which one is providing my required features now. I identified Struts is providing my required features. Or maybe JSF is providing my required features, but Spring is not providing them. Now tell me what I have to do. Come on guys, now tell me what I have to do. Still, can I go with the Spring framework? Shall I use Spring framework or I have to go for like what their Struts framework now? So definitely I have to go for what their Struts framework. By using Struts framework, I can prepare my web module, web application. Got it or not? But remember carefully. Remember, here the problem is what? In my entire enterprise application, only 20% of the application is a web layer. Remaining 80% of the application is my backend Java code only. Already I prepared my 80% of the backend Java code with what their Spring. Already I've used Spring for 80% of the application implementation. But web tier is not good with the Spring framework. Spring is not providing good support for web tier. I thought of it. Struts is providing very good support. So I implemented that web tier with what their Struts framework. Then what I have to do next? If I want to complete my complete application, then what I have to do? 80% of the application is ready with the Spring, but the 20% of the application is ready with what their Struts. Then what I have to do? I need to integrate both of them or not? If I integrate both of them, my complete enterprise application will be prepared or not? Now here my requirement is I need to integrate that Struts application with what their Spring application. How I'm going to integrate this Struts application with the Spring application? That's my requirement. Not only Struts, JSF also, for example, some part of the implementation I provided with the JSF. How I'm going to integrate that JSF application with the Spring application? Right. For the sake of integrating these MVC framework related applications with the Spring framework has provided some bridge. Spring framework has provided some bridge for integrating Struts application with the Spring application, JSF application with the Spring application. Some bridge is provided by Spring framework. That bridge is nothing but what their web module. That bridge is what their web module. So all of you get my point or not? So now the point here, what I'm telling you clearly, observe carefully. Spring Web module is providing very good environment is providing very good environment or bridge to integrate other MVC frameworks, applications like struts, JSF to the Spring applications. Right, sir. Observe carefully. What is the point I'm telling to you? Spring Web module is providing a very good environment or bridge to integrate, right, sir, to integrate other MVC frameworks applications like struts, JSF to the Spring applications. In a simple point, I'm telling there. Just it is integration layer for integrating what there struts application with the Spring application, JSF application with what there Spring application. There we are going to use what there web module. Clear or not? So for this, no need to think about it. When I go for this web module, there I will give overview of the Spring application. There I'll prepare overview of the struts application. I'll prepare struts application. Then I will show how to integrate the struts application with what there our Spring application. Don't worry. Then later on I will give that bridge related points. When I go for that exactly Spring framework, leave this one here. Next one is after that another module. All of you observe carefully. Spring web MVC module. Web module is different, and other one is what there web MVC module is different. Yes, sir, got it or not? Web module is different and web MVC module is different. What is the purpose of the Spring web MVC module? What is the purpose of the Spring web MVC module? All right, guys, all of you understand this clearly. All right, sir, observe carefully, all of you know. Struts is which type of framework now? Tell me. Web framework. Web framework that is designed on the top of the MVC or not? Previously I said to you, model to web application architecture. I said there, model to web application architecture is what there MVC only. On the basis of this model to web application architecture, struts and JSF are defined. It indicates that clearly struts and JSF are designed on the top of what there MVC. Frameworks in the sense 70% of the implementation is available. Only 30% of the code we have to write. If it is a web application, 70% of the web application is prepared with the struts framework. Only 30% of the implementation we have to write. That's the simplicity we are able to get. Am I right or not? How struts is a MVC based framework? How JSF is MVC based framework, which are providing some simplicity for designing web applications? In the same way, Spring framework has its own MVC based web framework. Spring framework has its own MVC based web framework. That MVC based web framework of the Spring framework provided in the form of a separate module. That module is like what there web MVC module. Web MVC module. You can say modules. That means frameworks of the framework is what there Spring framework. Spring web MVC is one framework. Is an internal framework of what there Spring framework. So that's why we can say Spring framework is what there collection of other frameworks also. Collection of what there other frameworks also. That we can clarify. That we can say that clearly. No? All right, sir. Now the point of this Spring web MVC is what there. Spring web MVC is a MVC based web framework. MVC based web framework like what there struts and JSF, right? It can be used to prepare web applications. It can be used to prepare web applications in the simplified manner. In a simplified manner, it can be used to prepare web applications in a simplified manner. That's it. In which way struts applications are prepared, in which way JSF applications are prepared. In the same way, web applications are prepared with what there web MVC module. Web module is different, web MVC module is different. Web module is providing environment to integrate struts application with the Spring, JSF application with what there Spring. But Spring web MVC is what there. Previously we are depending on struts framework to prepare web application. Not required for that. Spring is having its own web MVC module. That web MVC module is nothing but another struts framework, another JSF framework. So no need to use that framework separately. You can prepare your web applications by using what there Spring Web MVC module. Spring is having its own MVC module. By using that MVC module, we are able to prepare MVC based web applications. That's the reason why here we are understanding about like what there. Then the Spring Web MVC module. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not clearly? No. Leave this punch here. Next one is after that Spring test module. Spring what there test module. This is also very simple. Now try to understand it. Right, sir. Observe carefully, guys. All of you observe carefully. It's very simple to understand for you. Right. For example, there is a team for testing in our companies. Am I right or not? Two types of testings are available. One type of testing could be done by testers. Separate team is available. But developer level testing is going on. Developer level testing is going on. Am I right or not? Developer level testing. So the developer level testing is what there after preparing his implementation, he has to check whether this application is running fine or not. If he checked, if he's satisfied about the testing, no, he will deliver that product, that the total implementation to the tester. Now tester will check it, functionality testing or maybe some other testing, he will check it. QA team will take care about it. The required testing will be done by that QA team. If it is okay, then that code will be moved for production. Then production people will take care about it, remaining part. But developer level testing is going to be happen. That testing is nothing but what their unity testing. That unity testing could be performed by developers by using some different tools. One of the tool is what there JUnit. One of the tool is what there JUnit. JUnit is a testing tool. Is one of the tool to perform developer level testing. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Developer level testing could be done by using a tool. The tool is what there JUnit. JUnit testing. TESTING. Testing maybe Mockito, maybe extension of the JUnit. These many tools are available to perform what there developer level testing. Got it or not? Okay. Now try to understand this clearly. To integrate. Listen carefully. To integrate this developer level testing tools with the Spring application, we are going to use what there Spring test module. To integrate JUnit or testing kind of tools to perform unity testing at a developer level, we are going to use what there test module. The test module is provided an integration bridge for integrating what there the testing tools, unity testing tools. What are these unity testing tools? No, like JUnit or testing or Mockito, this kind of things with our Spring framework. But don't think about it that Selenium integration. Don't think about like what there some other integration with our no. Just only developer level testing integration point of view. We are going to use what there the Spring test module. Right. So now Spring test module is able to provide a very good environment, to integrate the unit testing tools like JUnit, testing and so on with Spring applications in order to test Spring applications. Right. So this is about like another one here. Observe carefully. Right, sir, and so on. So many modules are available. Not required to go for all the modules here, but well-known modules. What are the in general modules? What we are having that we are discussing clearly. These are like what their basic overview of like what their modules which are available inside the Spring framework. Of course, some other modules are also available, but not required immediately. On flow, when time comes for us, there we are going to discuss about all the concepts here. That's it. Now this is about like what their modules overview, Spring modules overview. Next, let's see the next topic like what there Steps to prepare Spring application. Steps to prepare what there? Spring application. Guys, observe carefully this point here. Still, I have not started any module, any specific module. I have not started any specific module. Even core module also be not yet started. Just I am discussing about introduction part. Just I'm discussing about what their introduction. Now this is what their second topic. Now this is the what about our what their second topic. But inside the second topic, what I'm going to discuss with you, the basic model for Spring application. How Spring application is going to be provided. What is the basic functionality of the Spring? How we are going to provide environment for Spring. All these things here we are going to understand clearly. Right, sir? Then shall we start these points now? Right, now observe carefully. Steps are available. Now let me provide all the steps now. Right, so now let me provide all the steps here. Now step number 1. Completely I'm discussing this topic by thinking all of you are at low level. That means low level. That means at 0 level. From this point onwards we are discussing, sir. If you know already these points here, but don't mind for it. But we must have some patience level to understand all the points now. But we have to understand clearly each and every point. Observe carefully. Step number 1. Download and install Spring framework. Without knowing Spring framework, without having Spring framework, how can we prepare the Spring applications now? I'll show that. Don't think about it. At the same time, don't think about it in installation of the Spring framework in the sense any setup file is downloaded, executing that setup file. Whether it is like that or not, I will explain to you. Don't worry for it. Right, sir. Next one. After that, download and install what their Spring framework. Next one is after that, download and install IDE. Initially, I'm going to use what their Eclipse IDE. If you have already Eclipse IDE, we can skip this one. Not required for this. I think all of you are having this Eclipse IDE. No need to think about it. Next one. After that, listen carefully. Create Java project in Eclipse IDE. Create Java project in Eclipse IDE. Next one. After that, add Spring libraries to the Java project. Add Spring libraries to the Java project. Up to these are very much common. For every Spring application, we have to do the same thing. Right, sir? Right, sir. Next one is after that. In Spring project, when we add Spring libraries to the Java project now, automatically the Java project is converted to Spring project. In a Spring project, prepare bean components. Prepare bean components as per the requirement. In the Spring project, prepare bean components as per the requirement. What beans you want to create, that is totally depending on your requirement. So just I want to display welcome message. A welcome bean I want to create, or maybe hello message, hello world message, and hello bean I want to create. Prepare some bean components. Next one is after that, prepare Spring configuration file. This is important. Prepare Spring configuration file and provide beans configuration and provide what there beans configuration. Okay, right, sir. Prepare test application to test our program. Prepare what there test application. Inside the test application, some other steps are available. Inside the test application, what are the various steps are available? I'm listing all these steps now. First one is like what there, activate container activate what there container, get a bean component from container. What is this container? I will discuss with you clearly. No need to worry for it. What is the container? What is the job of the container? All the points you are going to understand. Get a bean component from what there container. Access business methods. Access what there business methods. That's it. These are overall steps here what we required. Of course, these three steps if you want to prepare under this level or not, that later on we are going to see that, but I'm going to remove them. But first of all, prepare test application, that's enough. Where we are going to provide that content when I'm going to discuss about this test application clearly. Guys, now tell me, first of all, now what we have to do there, steps to prepare Spring applications. Download and install what there, Spring framework. Download and install what there, Eclipse. Create a Java project in Eclipse IDE. Add Spring libraries to the Java project. In the Spring project, prepare bean components as per the requirement. Prepare Spring configuration file and provide beans configuration. Then prepare test application. These are overall steps here, what we have to do. All right, sir. Now, shall we go for the first one here? And one more point I'm telling to you guys, observe carefully. Initially, I'm going to use with what there Eclipse. After completion of few examples on Eclipse, no, directly I will go with what there IntelliJ IDEA. Sure, we are going to do majority of the programs with what there IntelliJ IDEA. But initially, we have to start our project with what there Eclipse. Now let us start with Eclipse there. After that, I will move with what there IntelliJ IDEA. Got it or not? Now see now. Let's see this point here. All of you observe carefully. First of all, let me download and install Spring Framework. I'm not going to write any specific steps for it now, but try to understand it. Observe carefully. Right, sir? Then how we are going to download Spring Framework now? First of all, understand this. Spring Framework is nothing, is not any other, some other set of file is not any other like what there, some other device now. Spring Framework is a collection of jars, jar files. Collection of what there? Jar files. Observe carefully. I'm not going to say any other one here. Spring Framework is what there? Collection of jar files that we have to download from internet. No separate installation process that. Download from internet in the form of a zip file. Extract that jar files we are able to get. Keep the jar files in our system. That's it. Whenever we are going to prepare Spring project, no, add these jar files to our Java project. Automatically, the Java project is becoming as what there Spring project. That's a download and install Spring Framework in the sense, what's the meaning of it? No, just a download Spring jar files. Keep the jar files in a particular location or system. When we require them, integrate them, attach them with our Java project. That's it. Automatically, it will be completed. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? All right, so now let's observe carefully. Now, let me Google it. No need to remember any website. Just Google it. Observe this. How I'm going to get this Spring jars. Everybody observe this. Everybody must do the same thing today. Okay, right, sir. Now, Spring, just I want to write like what there downloads. And one more thing I'm telling to you all of you guys. Nowadays, every Spring project is going to be prepared with a Maven. Don't worry, I will teach Maven when we start programming. When we complete few examples there at basic level, then I will teach Maven. Then remaining part of the applications we are going to do with what there only with Maven. Only with Maven. The remaining part of the course, entire course is going on with Maven tool. But I will explain clearly that Maven one time here. So we have to understand it clearly. That's it. Now, when I'm going to teach that Maven, I'll give schedule for it. Should not separate schedule in the same continuation. I'll start a Spring framework for a while. Then I will start the Maven. When I complete this Maven, then again I will resume with what there. This is Spring content here. It's a part of the course only. Observe carefully. All right, so now Spring downloads. Spring downloads. Just click on it. All right, so then what we are getting, guys, now observe carefully. 1 minute. I'll show these points here. Not this one, not here. JFrog, something else. A repository is available. Just artifact that I required. Yeah. Freetail, okay, no problem here. Build better artifactory. Then what we have to search for it? No, let me check once again. Then after that, I'll give clarify you. One minute. One minute, sir. One minute, sir. Let me check it. Time to time they changed actually. That's why I'm telling that. Right. JFrog. This is what I'm telling. The report.spring.io. Okay, fine. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Report.spring.io. Yes, this is what we require. Let me do that. Then after that, I will finalize this one. All right. So now Spring versions are available. As of now, I discussed with what there Spring 5. Let me search for it. Spring 5 here. All right, sir. Now Spring latest versions, maybe some other different things are existed here. Out of all these things, 1 minute. Here itself we have to search for it, or any other thing is available. Artifacts. Better to click on these artifacts here. If we click on artifacts now, here we are getting something else URL to file. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll give more clarity where we have to get it. Lips milestone something else JFrog. I'll give finally. Don't worry, but let me check once now. Yeah, now here we are getting it, and now here we have to go for like what there, where we are getting the Spring samples and Spring session build or something else. No, we have to go for the samples, not here. 1 minute. Many other one is existed here. Spring. Spring framework, right? And Spring framework. Spring, simple Spring, right? Here versions are available. From where here we are able to get all the versions. As of now, 6th version is also available, but not required here. Just we are going to use what there 5.3.8. All right. Now here we are getting 5.3.8.zip file. Distribution.zip is available. Then if I click on it, then automatically we are able to get this entire content. That's okay, guys. Okay, fine. Better if it is possible. Now try to make a note of this path here so that you can download this from this location. Right, sir? All of you ready? Right, better if you require, then we can type it. Otherwise, you can watch this video so that we are able to get it now. Then what I am telling there, Spring downloads from JFrog Artifactory. What do you click there? JFrog Artifactory, or maybe right, sir. Let me go with this. Scroll down, report.spring.io JFrog. What do you have to search there? Or else maybe just I'm going to I'll go for it. Repo.spring.io. Then what next one here? JFrog. Then here we are getting like what there. Then still here we are getting this one only. JFrog. Report.spring.io JFrog. That we have to open. Right click on it. Open in new tab. Then here we are getting like what there? JFrog. It able to open that. So this is like what there. The repository is one type of repository. It's providing all the jar files for us now. Okay, clear? Right, sir. Now here, whenever we are getting this, here what I am telling there, just use what their artifacts. An option is available. Getting clarity or not? What is it? No artifacts. Tell me what we have to do there. Spring dot io dot spring dot what? No, sorry. Spring dot io. Then what next one? JFrog. That we have to search there. Automatically we are able to get the JFrog. No. There at left side we are getting what there artifacts. Click on these artifacts. No. There here we are getting like what there. So many things we are getting there. Lips, milestones, or maybe different things here we are getting there. All right, sir. Not required to check any other one. Here we are getting like what there, one link here we are getting. Am I right or not? Link here we are getting there. Now try to right click on this link, open a new tab. Repo.spring.io artifactory lips milestone. Right click on it. Now it will open what there, JFrog. Then where we are able to see that libraries. Let me check with that. All right, sir. Now here we are getting the total lips milestone. Here what we required here, now observe carefully. Here we have to go for what there, arg. Am I right or not? We have to go for what there, arg. Inside this arg, what we have to open there, Spring framework. Inside this arg, what is available here now, Spring framework. Select this Spring framework. Okay, when we open that Spring framework, there we have to go for like what there, Spring link is available, Spring, only Spring. Don't click on any other one, just click on Spring. If you click on Spring, you know, all Spring versions are available, right from 1.0 version onwards. Like what there, all the versions are available here. You observe carefully, the latest version of the Spring is what there, 6.x version. But 6.x version is what there, M1, M2, this kind of like models are available there. Anyway, not required. That effective version, what is available at present here, 5.3.9 is available. Let me click on this. 5.3.9, it is available. Click on it. Then after that, here, Spring 5.3.9 distribution.zip is available. Click on this. If we click on this, automatically it's going to be downloaded. Now tell me, at present we are going to use which version of the Spring here? 5.3.9 distribution. Zip file is coming there. 78.6 MB is available. Just wait until the completion of this particular one. Just wait up to the time here. Then by that we are able to get some clarity. Now observe carefully. 78.6 MB of size is available. Just wait until that. All right, sir. Anyway, then if you want to get it, then I will give the total link to you. Now try to follow this. Try to take this link. Just I'll keep that link in the document here. In the document now, what I'm telling there, download Spring framework from the following link. Just I'm giving this link to you. Yes, sir, got it or not? Just if we copy and paste that link in browser there, max we are able to reach to that particular location. Again it is starting, you know, JFrog. Let it open. Right, sir. Directly here we are getting what there, the respect to know. This one here we have to click. Automatically the total document is going to be downloaded. That means the total zip file we are able to get now. Leave this one. Right, so now this is a link here we provided there. Okay, fine. Now observe carefully. Now show in folder. Already we downloaded this. Let me cut it. Cut it. I want to keep all my softwares under E drive in a softwares folder. Then where I have to go for like what their frameworks, where Spring is already existed here, but this is available with what their 5.3.9 now. What version here we downloaded there? Same version or not? 5.3.9. Then I don't want to again paste it. Same thing already downloaded that I want to use there anyway. Yes, sir, got it or not? Okay, fine now. All right, sir. Now these are like what their content here. Then what we have to do, right click on it and extract here. Right click on it and extract here. Then automatically here what we are getting there, Spring framework 5.3.9 here we are getting. Spring framework 5.3.9 here we are getting. Just open it. Now inside this, if you observe this lips, there we are having all the Spring related jar files are available. This is the total Spring framework. Right, sir. Got it or not? So no need to install any other one. Just download the jar files. Keep the jar files in a particular location in our system. Zip file, whatever the zip file we got there, extract it. Then try to maintain the jar files. That's it. Application to application, jar files are going to be varied. At very start of application, 1 or 2 jar files we require. That jar files I will give clarity for you. Don't worry for it. What jar files we have to be add to the first application, I'll give list of jar files to you. By that we are able to get some clarity. So finally here, what we completed, guys, then how to download Spring framework from internet. Leave this one. This is the point here I'm telling that download Spring framework from the following link. That's okay, fine. After completion of this, then what next step here? After downloading and installation of the Spring framework, next one here now? Download and install Eclipse IDE. Not required. Already we have done it. Am I right or not? Download and install what there? Eclipse IDE, but not required here. Leave this one. Create a Java project in Eclipse IDE. Now let me open my Eclipse IDE. Let me open my Eclipse IDE. 2022-12. Is there any newer version for this Eclipse IDE? 12. In the sense, maybe in the March, maybe we are able to get. This month we are able to get it. Every 3 months of time, one Eclipse version will come. All right. Now it is asking about what their workspace. Now let me provide some workspace here. Browse button. D drive. Inside the D drive, already we prepared for what their Spring 830. A folder here we created or not? No, not created here. Now let me create a separate folder. Spring 830. That is a folder here. Now inside this folder, what I want to create here, I'm going to create like what there, something else like what there, not introduction here, core module. Spring hyphen core. Part of the core module, I'm going to prepare these applications now, but this is for introduction only, but core module I will start separately. Don't worry for it. Now this is Spring hyphen core. This is my workspace. I want to create this. Select a folder. What is our location there? D:/Spring 830. Where Spring hyphen core that we provided. Now click on launch button. When I click on this launch button, automatically Spring will be loaded to this particular location. The required setup files of this that means Eclipse ID will be loaded to the respective location. Required setups of this Eclipse ID will done at the same location there. Here we are able to get it. All right, sir. Then people are asking to me, sir, please use Maven. I'm telling to you, I'll use Maven. But directly on first day itself, if I use Maven there, how we are going to understand what's going to be happen internally? Maven is providing some kind of environment, easiest environment for us to prepare our applications now. But let us prepare that application with the ground totally. And moreover, people are not aware about Maven. Yes, sir. How many of you are aware about Maven? Not aware. Definitely we have to teach something about Maven there. We need to understand max information about the Maven. Okay. All right, sir. Then so that's why we have to wait up to the time here. All right, sir. Now here we are able to get like there Eclipse. Whenever we are getting this Eclipse now, then immediately what we have to do there, we have to create a first, that means Java project here we have to create. See, module by module we are going to prepare applications now. In a core module, we are going to prepare only standalone applications. In a web module, we are going to prepare what there? Web applications there now. But core module related application I'm going to prepare. I need to create Java project. Now tell me, do you have any Java project here in the list now? No, it is not available. Then we have to go for what there? Create a project. Create a project. Now here Java project is available. Let me open it. Click on next button. Right, sir. Now here we have to provide some project details. Project details. Now let me prepare our project like what there? APP01. APP01. Right, sir. Now this is a project here I'm preparing, APP01. Just introductory project here I'm telling there. The execution environment Java IST 17. By default, it might be taken that 17. Okay, you can use that. No need to have any changes there. APP01 and click on what there? Next button here. Click on what there? Next button. Then click on finish button. Open perspective, no problem here. Right, sir. Now, this is what their just a Java project here I prepared. Am I right or not? This is what their just a Java project. But my requirement is I want to make it is a Spring project. I want to make it is what project there? Spring project. How I'm going to make it is a Spring project now? I need to add what there? Spring jar files to what there? The Java project. Let's see this one. First of all, blindly I'm going to add all the jar files now, required jar files now. But in the future, I will prepare one library, Spring library. I will use that library every time now. Here's the different libraries we can prepare with like what their Eclipse ID that we are going to prepare in the future. Now right click on this project. Now go for what their properties. There we have to go for like what there. Tell me what we have to go there. Java build path. In Java build path, click on what their libraries. Now as of now here we are having only JRE. Now click on class path there, add external jars, add external jars. Observe carefully. Now go for our E drive. Inside the E drive, go for what there? Softwares. Inside these frameworks, inside this Spring, inside this Spring, what we have there? Spring framework 5.3.9. Inside this lips, inside this we need to add the required jar files. For very basic core projects, that means basic foundation, what jar files here we required now? Observe carefully. Beans jar file is required. Beans, why? Because we are going to maintain some bean components there. Beans project is beans jar file is required. Context is required. Click on control and select multiple files here now. Context is required. Then after that, what next one here? After this context now, context support is required. What is this one? Context support. Next one is like what there? Core is required. Beans, context, context support, then core. Observe carefully. Expression is required. Spring expression. Standard for entire core module. Standard library I'm preparing no required. Then after that, JDBC is not required. JMS messaging, ORM, OXM no. Right, sir. All the remaining things are not required for us. No. Leave this one here. Guys, now tell me what are required here now. First one is what there? Spring beans. Next one is what there? Spring context. Next one is what there? Come on, Spring context support. Then what next one here? Spring core. Next one is what there? Spring expression. Spring expression here we require. Then click on open button. Record jar files we are getting or not? But observe carefully. One more jar file is required. Along with this, logging jar file is required. Commons-logging. But that is not provided by Spring framework actually. That is provided by Apache Software Foundations now. Now let me download even that one also. All right, sir. What I required here, apart from this, another one, Apache Commons, Apache logging, Apache logging downloads. All right, sir. Log management, not this one, Apache logging. Yeah, this one, download Apache Commons logging. Commons logging, I have to search for it actually. All right, now here we are getting like what there, Apache Commons logging 1.2 version is available. Now zip file is available, Commons logging, this one. Click on it, automatically it's going to be downloaded. All right, so now here we are getting this. All right, so now show in folder. Let me copy this and cut it, or copy this, go for E drive, softwares, then frameworks, Spring. I think already I had that one. I downloaded already, right? Just I have to right click on it and I have to paste it. Not required here, already downloaded. Just extract this. If I extract this here, automatically we are getting what their folder commons-logging 1.2. Open it. If you open this, now here one jar file is available. What is this jar file now? Commons-logging 1.2. All right, sir. Now here we have to add even that one also. Click on again, click on class path, add external jars. Go to the location Spring. Commons-logging is available or not? There I kept it. Open it, where we have to select this. Tell me what jar files we required here. Beans, Spring-beans. Next one is what there? Spring-context. Spring-context support. Next one is what there? Spring-core. Spring-core. Then after that, what next one here? Spring-expression. Then after what next one here? Commons-logging. These 6 jar files are required at the basic level programming. Right, sir? Okay. Apply and close. Here we are getting reference libraries or not? Inside these reference libraries, all the jar files names here we are getting there. Observe carefully. Okay. All right, sir. Next one is like what there? Creating Java project is okay. Add the following jar files to the Java project. I think so. Now I'm giving that list here. Spring-beans-version .jar. Spring-core- version dot jar file. Version is what there 5.3.9. Next one is spring hyphen, like what next one you know, context hyphen version dot jar. Next one is what there spring hyphen. All right, sir. Then what next one you know, context hyphen support dot version. That means dot version hyphen version jar file. Next one is what next one here, spring hyphen expression hyphen version dot jar file. Then after that, what next one, sir? Any other one here? Yes, sir. Commons logging, right? Commons hyphen logging. Any other one from Spring Framework? I'm thinking there. Hyphen version dot jar file. At present, for the sake of basic, very, very basic programming, no, these many things are sufficient. Right, so these jar files here we have to add. This commons hyphen logging we have to download from internet. Please remember this. Now here itself I'm telling you, just give a minute of time. And where it is now, Apache. In the document I want to specify there. Download Apache commons hyphen logging. Apache commons hyphen logging version dot jar file from the following link. Right, sir. It may be useful for you if you use that links now, right? Directly we can paste on the browser address bar, then automatically we are able to get the downloadable links. Click on them. All right, so these are the various libraries here we have to add to what there to the Spring framework. Yes, sir. Got it or not? So after what we completed here, we downloaded Spring framework, created Java project in Eclipse IDE, added that Spring library to what there to the Spring project. Then what next one here? We have to prepare bean components. Am I right or not? Then we have to prepare configuration file. Then after that, what next one here? Prepare a test application. So these things here we are going to understand in the next class here. But before that, I'm telling to you, anyway, the next component is what there? Beans in a Spring framework. That means beans in a Spring framework. Beans in a Spring framework. We are going to understand what exactly the meaning of the bean, how to prepare bean, what are the various guidelines to prepare these beans, that one by one, all the components here we are going to understand. See, preparing Java beans in the normal way is not suggestible in Spring applications. There are some rules and regulations. With the rules and regulations only, we have to prepare bean components in Spring applications. Again, I'm telling there, what is the basic idea inside the Spring, prepare your application logic with what components there? Bean components. Who will create objects for bean components? No, containers will create. Activate the container, container will create bean objects, and a container will supply that bean objects to us. Get a required bean object, then access business methods. Inside the bean components, we are going to prepare business methods. Yes, sir. Idea is clear or not? So it's not like normal core Java program. It seems like core Java program, but it's not like that. Prepare application logic in the form of bean components. Configure them in Spring configuration file. Container will create bean objects and supply that bean objects to us. Get that bean objects from container and access business methods. This is the overall idea. In the flow of execution, I will give more clarity on this particular content. But as of now, we have to understand basic setup I completed there. Spring application setup I given. Next one is what there? Beans in Spring framework. Now we are going to understand the components of the Spring. One by one, all the components we are going to understand. Right? Tomorrow's class is very, very important. If it is possible, I'll prepare the first application in tomorrow itself. Understand my point here? But explanation of these components are very, very important. Once if I complete first application, I'll give flow of execution. How that Spring program is application is going to be executed internally. One time, if you understand that flow of execution, same thing we are going to use for our next 15 to 20 days of time. Until the core module, the same flow of execution is going to be happen. Even in the future also to the same flow of execution, some patches are going to be appended. But basic flow of execution is very same. Patches are going to be appended. That we have to understand clearly. Right? That's all, guys. That's all for today. I'll see the remaining part tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks a lot.